And counting to the big Brexit vote, and the government ploughs on. They spent much of the last couple of weeks warning of the dangers of no deal. Now the Foreign Secretary, Jeremy Hunt, speaking on the Today programme, switched to the dangers of no Brexit.
If this deal is rejected, ultimately, what we may end up with is not a different type of Brexit, but Brexit paralysis. And Brexit paralysis ultimately could lead to no Brexit. And what I'm saying is this would be incredibly damaging for breach of trust. It would also be very bad for Britain's reputation abroad.
But most do expect the deal to be rejected next Tuesday. There's a tiny slither of good news for the government. Two Conservative MPs say they've changed their minds. One of them is George Freeman, who can join us now. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Mark.
What's changed?
Well, the timetable is what's changed. I've got reservations about this withdrawal agreement, and I wanted to have a chance to speak to them in the House in December and vote to signal those reservations and empower the Prime Minister to negotiate to improve the agreement. But we're now in the end stages of this. The default is still no deal. And I think to vote against an orderly Brexit, this withdrawal agreement, and risk a no-deal, crash-out Brexit is an act of irresponsibility. And it's a difficult judgment, but I think my responsibility to my constituents is to deliver Brexit and the orderly Brexit that most people want.
I mean, it must be a difficult decision because just a month ago you were pretty strong in what you said. You said it effectively gives the EU a veto over the UK's options. It undermines the union of the United Kingdom, sets a dangerous precedent for Scotland. It's an unstable Brexit, which would damage our economic prospects. Presumably all of that is still true.
Yes, I absolutely. I still think that, but this is Hobson's choice. It's better than a no-deal crash Brexit, in my view, and in my judgment, for my constituents. I don't think it's ideal at all, but that's the situation that we find ourselves in. I wish the Prime Minister had given us the vote in December. I wish, frankly, this had been approached differently. I think the idea that Brexit is some sort of moment of Tory triumph has been proven to be hollow, and I wish we'd approached this in a more cross-party way. It's not too late for that, and yesterday in the House it was very striking, listening to Caroline Flint and John Mann, and if you listen to Stephen Kinnock and a large number of Labour backbench MPs, they, like people like me on the Conservative side, are looking for a sensible, orderly Brexit. And I hope that in the next few weeks Parliament can show that we are listening to the British people, not just the 52, not just the 48, but trying to find a sensible way to resolve this, so that we can get back to governing this country and dealing with the very real domestic grievances that fueled that vote.
Do you think then that you are a straw in the wind, that other Conservatives and, as you say, Labour MPs will join with you on Tuesday?
Well, yes, I know that there are a number of colleagues who feel the same way as I do. I know there are 30 or 40, and I would predict that quite a few will decide with a very heavy heart to vote for the deal on Tuesday. But I also suspect that it probably won't be enough to win the vote. And that isn't a disaster. And I hope the Prime Minister will take that as a signal to open up negotiations across the House, to explore every avenue to see whether Parliament can find a Brexit that it can vote for. I think it's there. Personally, I think the European Free Trade Area, the Norway option, could command support across the House.
That would take a lot of time, and Dominic Grieve, the Conservative MP Dominic Grieve, has said that delete the date for leaving is an option from domestic legislation. In other words, delay the date. You'd need something like that if you're looking for a different deal, wouldn't you?
Probably. I mean, the way we are pushing the Norway option would be to go through this withdrawal agreement. But at the end of it, we go into the European Free Trade Area, which has a lot of advantages, delivers much of what my constituents voted for. You know, we'd be in the single market, not in the customs union, free to do trade deals, take back fishing and farming. We don't pay the same amount or on the same terms, and we enjoy free movement of workers, not citizens. So it's got a lot going for it. But I agree. I think Jeremy Hunt is right that as people approach the vote on Tuesday, it's increasingly a choice between this deal or no Brexit by March the 29th. I'm confident Parliament is going to find a way to deliver Brexit. I don't think a second referendum would solve anything. I fear the same result, the opposite result, or no result. But I think time is running out, and
I'm afraid time is running out for us here as well. Thank you.